Hello, it's Tamara back. I'm going to show you how to do the final technique of lesson 3, where we have picked up stitches on both sides. And the last thing we do after we pick those stitches up is we work to the center of the heel flap. And for me, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because the heel flap for me, after all my short rows, I had 10 stitches total, so the half was 5 in. Now I want you to know that this is the center of the heel flap, and this is now going to be the official beginning of round all the way until it's time to shape the toe. So I am going to put a removable stitch marker in the first stitch on the left needle, and this is now the beginning of round. So from this point on, we will now be working back in rounds like we were before. I have all this stuff on my needle. It looks a little bit cuckoo, and I'm going to show you, if I rotate this, I'm going to find the middle of the instep. Here it is. This loop is coming out of the center of the top of the foot stitches. This is what the whoops, here we go. Let me reorient this. Here, I have now taken all slack out of my stitches, so I have the loop coming out of the center of the top of the foot stitches, and the two needles are pointing to the right at the middle of the heel. And I really do have a long needle. It makes it a little awkward to show you. But what I want you to see is, now that I've done this, do you see that we're actually back in profile again? So I'm going to have a first half of the work, and I'm going to have a second half of the work. And I'm going to show you how to do the first round once you're joined again. And this is a decrease round. You're going to be working rounds 1 and 2 until you have the original number of stitches you cast on. So I am working, here's the beginning of the round. So the needle is already ready to work, and I just pulled the needle, the back needle, out to give myself slack so I can go and knit in. And what I want you to know is you're going to knit across the rest of your heel stitches. For me, that's only 5 in this example. You'll have a different number. You're going to knit the rest of your heel, and then, so slow to focus there. And then you're going to knit across the stitches you picked up on the heel flap and stop before the last one. I'm going to do that now. So I'm stopping before I knit the last heel flap stitch. How do I know that that's the last heel flap stitch? Because I put a marker in between those stitches and the next section. So I'm going to knit until I stop 1 stitch short of that marker. And I'm going to try to do it a little fast so you don't have to wait while I do that. It will feel fiddly, it will feel weird on your needle. Expect that to feel awkward. That doesn't mean you made a mistake. It's just a lot of weird extra fabric. So now I have 2 left before the marker. I'm now at the last stitch of the heel flap. I'm going to take this, I'm going to pick up that stitch to get out of the way, take the marker off. I'm going to put the stitch back. So all I did was move this to get the marker. And yes, it's a removable marker and I could open it, but I just want you to see in case you're using a closed marker. Now I'm going to knit 2 together, the last stitch from the heel flap and the first stitch from the top of the foot section. And I'm going to go in from left to right, because this is just a knit 2 together. It's done. Now that it's done, I'm going to put my marker back so I don't forget where that separation is. I'm now going to knit across the first half of the instep stitches aka top of the foot. And after I've knit the first half of the instep, I've knit the whole first side of the needle, just like when we're working in the circle, in the round. And now I'm going to turn the needle. I have to pull the cable and get the needle on the second half of my stitches ready. So hopefully you saw that. I got the needle. Okay, and now I pull the needle in back. You know this. I pull the back needle out, and I'm going to knit into one stitch before the next marker. Also, when I knit the first stitch on the new needle, I'm going to pull a little bit so that I don't get a space in between these two. I'm tightening the join because this is the space between the first half of the work and the second half. All right, here I am. This is the last stitch of the instep. I'm going to pick it, I'm going to slip it, get the marker out of the way, slip it back. I didn't turn it, I just slipped it. Now I'm going to slip, slip, knit. So the first is slipped, the second is slipped, my left needle goes into the front. I knit them together. Okie dokie. And now I'm going to place the marker back. Okay. And now that I've done that, I'm going to knit the rest of the stitches on this needle. One, two, okay, 1 and 2. So I just knit the rest of the stitches on this half, which means when I finished, there's that little marker in my fabric, meaning I just finished the complete round. I completed the whole first round, and I did 2 decreases. On the first half, I did a knit 2 together decrease, and on the second half I did a slip slip knit decrease. And after that round I'm going to do round 2, which is just knitting. So I've worked this side, I'm going to turn my work, and I'm going to knit 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 and knit across this half, turn it, knit across. No other changes, it's just knitting. And when the whole round is done, both sides, it's time to go back to round 1 and do the decreases again at each marker. Every round 1, you are joining stitches from the instep and the heel flap and decreasing. And each time that means one round, that means every time you do that one round, you've decreased 2 stitches, a stitch here and a stitch here. And then after that, you do your plain round. So repeat round 1, round 2, round 1, round 2, until you're back to your original number. And when you get to your original number, you're going to have your same circumference of your original leg stitches, and you're going to now knit. And I want you to knit until you're 2 inches short of your whole foot, and then it's time to shape the toe. I hope that was helpful.